Before Sydney had roads, before it had buildings, this land already had a history. Not written in books, but carved into rock, carried by water and remembered through stories. For more than 40,000 years, the Eora nation lived here. They knew the seasons, they knew the tides. They knew this harbour long before it had a name. Fishing from canoes, gathering shellfish, sharing stories around fire. This place was alive, not empty, not waiting to be discovered. In 1788, everything changed. 11 British ships entered the harbour. Men in uniforms looked at the land and claimed it for a distant king. They called it a new beginning. For the people who already lived here, it was an invasion. Convicts were unloaded. Chains clinked against stone. Tents were raised along the shore. The soil was unfamiliar. Crops failed. Food was scarce. Disease spread quickly through both settlers and indigenous communities. Survival was uncertain. The early colonies struggled to stay alive. Convicts were forced to work. Trees were cut down. Huts, roads, and farms slowly appeared. As the settlement expanded, conflict grew. Sacred land was taken. Hunting grounds disappeared. Traditional life was pushed aside. Violence became common. Not always recorded, not always remembered. Sydney was small, harsh, and deeply divided. In the early 1800s, the settlement began to change. Stone buildings replaced canvas tents. Churches rose from the ground. Courts and government offices followed. Sydney was no longer just a prison colony. It was becoming a permanent town. Trade increased. Ships came and went through the harbour. The population grew. But this growth came at a cost. Indigenous resistance continued, and punishment was brutal. Whole communities were displaced. History moved forward, but not equally for everyone. Then came the gold rush of the 1850s. News of gold spread across the world. People arrived from Britain, China, Europe, and beyond. The harbour filled with ships, streets filled with noise. Money flowed into the city. Sydney became a major port, a gateway to opportunity, and a centre of power. The city grew fast, too fast. The 20th century reshaped Sydney forever. In 1932, the Sydney Harbour Bridge opened. Steel connected north and south, changing how the city moved and how it imagined itself. Decades later, another symbol rose from the water. In 1973, the Sydney Opera House was completed. Its shape was bold, unfamiliar, seen across the world. Sydney was no longer just a colonial city. It was global. The city expanded outward, upward, and forward. Suburbs spread, skylines rose. Technology replaced ships and sails. Yet beneath the streets, the past remained. Ancient paths became modern roads. Old sandstone stood beside glass towers. Today, Sydney is a modern, global city. Busy, beautiful, unequal. Millions walk its streets without knowing the full story beneath their feet. Because Sydney's story did not begin in 1788. It began long before. And it is still being written. Sydney is not just a city built over time. It is a city built on land that remembers.